don't know if she leaned. We really don't know what happened.
Authorities investigate why a woman toppled over a balcony at the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium. What they say about whether alcohol was a factor.
Remembering the victims of a senseless attack, how a memorial for those killed in a Sikh temple will carry on throughout the weekend.
I do have more animals in the community waiting to come into my shelter than are going out.
Pet ownership taking a plunge. More on the situation in the mountains and how people can help without being financially strained.
Now in high definition from Western North Carolina's news leader, this is News 13 at 5:30.
A woman falls from a balcony onto spectators below during a concert at the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium.
And tonight, investigators are trying to figure out exactly how it happened. News 13's Mario Boone joins us now.
And Mario, what are city leaders telling you?
Well, bizarre is the word the city is using to describe this most unusual accident that injured two and disrupted the Merle Haggard concert.
Silver wings.
As country music legend Merle Haggard belted out tunes to hundreds of fans at Thomas Wolfe Auditorium, a woman fell over a balcony right on top of spectators below.
She came down right here and she fell on a gentleman that was seated in this area.
Both had to be taken away by ambulance. Left behind, though, many unanswered questions about how it happened.
I don't know if she leaned. We really don't know what happened.
An investigation is underway to figure out a cause, while some wonder if alcohol might be the reason.
We were serving alcohol that night. We have no idea whether or not alcohol usage came into play with this incident.
The bizarre episode shocked Brian Zimmer, who showed up at the U.S. Cellular Center Friday to buy tickets.
I had no idea that happened. I've never seen anything like that or even anything close like that.
Zimmer says he's a regular at Wolfe and never felt unsafe.
I think it's okay, just as long as, their security's doing their job, keeping an eye on people, and people kind of staying away from it. It should be fine.
It's just a kind of a freak thing that happened, and we certainly hope that everyone's doing all right.
Now, injuries to the man and woman involved in this accident are said to be minor. Tammy?
Thank you, Mario. Well, people in Winston-Salem are trying to come to grips with the unexpected death of a middle school teacher. The body of 35-year-old Aaron Wilkins was found Thursday morning in a wooded area near the school. Deputies say Wilkins was in the area preparing a tree stand to use for hunting later in the year. They're still not sure what caused his death. Wilkins had worked for the Forsyth County school system for 12 years. He leaves behind a wife and 4 children.
The community of Oak Creek, Wisconsin gathered for a memorial service today to honor those gunned down by a white supremacist at a Sikh temple last Sunday. 40-year-old Wade Michael Page took his own life after going on a shooting rampage that killed 6 and wounded 3 others. Hundreds of people from around the country packed into a high school to pay their final respects. Victims' families were greeted with hugs. Mourners passed by the 6 open caskets, and a large video screen flashed photos of those killed and wounded. U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder praised the Sikh community's response to the tragedy.
Last Sunday morning, this community witnessed the very worst of humankind. But for every minute, every hour, and every day since then, you have exemplified and you have inspired the very best in who we are.
This afternoon, the Sikh temple will reopen for prayers as followers take turns reading over 1,000 pages of their holy book until Sunday morning.
The parents of a Rock Hill child attacked by a dog show their support for an ordinance that would ban dog tethering. 11-year-old Kenny Allen was at a neighbor's home this spring when the dog broke its chain and attacked him. The dog injured his hand and his arm and ripped a large part of his scalp from his head. Yesterday, Kenny's mother joined animal advocates to push for changes that would address recent problems with aggressive and dangerous animals. Their ideas include requiring a permit for owning 5 or more dogs and making all dog tethering illegal.
Tethering can promote aggression in a dog. They become very territorial.
York County officials say they've had 3 dog attacks this year by dogs that were tied up. They plan to consider the proposals and make a recommendation to the county council in the next month.
Fewer Americans are owning pets. That's the word from a study by the American Veterinary Medical Association. News 13's Karen Wynn checked into the story. And Karen, is this holding true here in the mountains?
Frank, hard to say. While one animal shelter reports adoptions this year are down, way down, one local vet says his patient load remains high, but both agree on one thing: the slow economy is making it harder to be a good pet owner. Take a look around Brother Wolf Animal Rescue and you can see there are plenty of dogs and cats to choose from.
This year we are down 210 adoptions as of today. So we have seen an impact.
An impact from the slow economy. A recent study by the American Veterinary Medical Association shows pet ownership in the U.S. has dropped dramatically since the end of 2006. Down 2 million dogs and 7.5 million cats.
I find it very sad, but it doesn't surprise me because it is expensive, and I know for a lot of people that are having a hard time just putting food on their table, to have one more mouth to feed has to be difficult.
So this is Tabitha Keller.
Veterinarian Don Zare of Hendersonville Veterinary Hospital says his patient load remains high, but he's seen some changes.
No doubt that folks are sometimes waiting a little longer to bring their pet in before, maybe making sure it's really as sick as I think it is.
And that concerns them.
Sometimes you see a pet who's real sick and you think you probably could have fixed it pretty easily a few days earlier.
However, if you have the heart for a pet but not the finances, you can always foster an animal.
We provide all food, medical, everything. If they just provide a home and a love for these pets that can be adopted.
When I asked the vet, Dr. Zare, why he thought that the cat population went down so much more dramatically than the dogs, he said the recent success in curbing the feral cat population in the U.S. may have led to that big drop. Frank?
And News 13 wants to know, has the slow economy had any impact on your decision to own pets? You can log on to facebook.com/News13 and click on the Inside News 13 tab to answer our question of the day.
Go west, young man, for this week's Hometown Hotspot.
And that's where we are. It's the 4th annual Mountain High Barbecue Festival and Car Show in Franklin. And Chief Meteorologist Jason Boyer, he's a lucky man. Get to check it out.
I know. Jason, barbecue and cool cars, what more could you ask for?
Well, of course. And where else could you find coffee than at a barbecue festival?
All right,
in fact,
I'll take it.
a nice gentleman came up and gave me a cup of coffee. I guess he said, "You look like you're about ready to fall asleep out here." I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yes, and we do have plenty of barbecue to talk about. And you mentioned cars. Well, we have some of them on display already. These cold, old-time classic cars on the show for you, and more of those over to the left of me, and we'll pan over to show you those. And yep, there is more to come. We'll talk about those cars. We'll talk about the barbecue coming up in a few minutes, and we'll talk to the guy who's organizing some of the car show as well. And we'll talk again about those cars coming up after the break. Stick around for us.
Okay, Jason, time now for another check on the roads.
News 13's George Sheldon has your afternoon traffic report. George?
No charges coming up. Why federal officials are dropping the fraud case against Goldman Sachs.
Plus, big savings on clothing for your little ones and you. How this year's We Trade event is offering some big specials.